7 o'clock, I'll call this meeting to order. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. All those at HQ, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The chair would like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda.
Moved. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Fernahoff. Thank you. It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Appearing none, let's go ahead and vote. All those approve the agenda, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right, motion passes. The consent agenda. We have 4 items. Healthcare claims, healthcare EFT claims totaling $70,529.07. Healthcare EFT claims totaling $101,965.27. And claims vouchers 12475 to 12509 totaling $133,678.94. We have claims vouchers 12510 to 12553 totaling $364,498.72. The grand total of $670,672 even. Is there a motion to pass all 4? Moved by Commissioner Teoflax, seconded by Vice Chair Rowland. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. All right, motion passes unanimously. Nice. Meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes from August 16th? Moved by Commissioner Lawrence. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Chan. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, let's go ahead and vote. All those in favor of the regular meeting minutes, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by saying nay. All right, motion carries. Public comment. Is there anybody, excuse me, on the attendee side that wish to make a comment? If so, please signify by raising your hand. I'm not seeing any, so we will move forward with the fire chief's report. Mr. Todd, good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
All right, good evening, commissioners, liaison, Todd, staff, guests, and meeting attendees. Commissioners, I'll be emailing you an update of some supplemental information as I have been on operations and the pandemic after I conclude this verbal report. But just to give you a brief summary, since our last meeting, our operational crews have been about 4% busier year over year. And we are staying steady with no current COVID exposures in our workplace. And the county's at a 55 per 100,000 level, which is great. So everything is trending up. One occurrence of outside of standard deviation, and things are good within the RFA. So moving on to visual report, we're going to bring up a graphic that we have been invited as the current provider effective very December of this year or in January, providing direct service now to the residents of the city of Mill Creek who voted to join our RFA to their Veterans Day Parade. on November 11th, 11 a.m. to noon. Please contact Public Information Officer Leslie Hines if you would like to participate, and she will provide you with instructions on where to meet. This will be a pretty typical interaction for us on how we would support our current contract cities or the city of Linwood with just helping out in the parade. So it'll be a nice show of force and our full ensemble of apparatus to really recognize this important event and our first public event in the city of Mill Creek. So moving on to the next slide, we have a great picture here. If you haven't had an opportunity to meet the newer police chief of Edmonds Police Department, she joined after being retired for about a year and a half, has a lot of history in King County, and that is Chief Michelle Bennett. Very early on, when we connected, she talked about what they had done in King County to have automatic external defibrillators, or AEDs, on the police and county units that King County serves, cities in a big county area. That's something that they teamed up with King County Medic One, as well as some of their partners. And that isn't something that really a lot of departments might have in our area. It's something that Chief Maxwell and our teams worked with for a long time to make sure we identify where those are at. But there's a lot of motivated police department officers. Sometimes they've been EMTs in the past, and many of them have taken our ACT training program. So to cut to the chase, we have 6 of those now inside the city of Edmonds in their patrol units, and they're looking to purchase more of them. It's a bit of a supply chain issue right now, but this was all done through a partnership and a donation from the South County Fire Foundation. So really funded by both the union members of South County Union Firefighters Local 1828, as well as our other employees that aren't uniformed here at the RFA. So good accomplishment. I want to thank the partnership with the Edmonds Police Department, specifically Chief Bennett, and we'll be moving forward in good partnership in the years ahead with her new leadership and the growing Edmonds Police Department. So we've got one more slide. And this is a good day at the RFA, as we have introduced a new employee to support our HR division. Commissioners, you'll remember earlier this year, you were kind enough to do a mid-year budget adjustment to add 1 personnel to CFO Bothwell's finance division, as well as Director Hollenbach's HR division. So this is a good picture. We do this quite a bit, and we get staff that are on duty, whether in the stations or at headquarters virtually, to introduce a new employee, talk a little bit about them, and introduce what their past history has been. And they get an opportunity to say great things, which was that this individual that joins us is really ready to make a great connection to improve our RFA. They've got a great history that includes working the last job at Snohomish County as a public records officer in that big division in the county, and a history of really just helping people, which includes being an administrative assistant and working for the City of Mercer Islands Youth and Family Services. She could not be here tonight, and that's okay, because we will probably have an opportunity, commissioners, to meet her in the future. Her name is Janet Bilyeu, and she's being introduced by the last member that joined our organization from Chris's team, our new finance manager. And with that, I had one more thing to talk about, but I understand that the local would like to talk about their Coats for Kids donation. So for that, I'm going to pause and thank you for the opportunity to provide my fire chief report this evening, and staff would welcome any questions from the board. Thank you.
Any questions for the fire chief? Oh, you got off light tonight, Chief Hovis.
Aloha and mahalo.
That's right. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. We'll move into the legal report. Attorney
All right,
Davis.
good. Thank you. Good evening, commissioners. Fairly short report tonight. Over the last month of October, we have been involved in some issues regarding the real property that the fire authority is in the process of purchasing. We've assisted staff with some advice concerning the board up contractor process that we use. We've assisted with some issues that we're going to talk about tonight in executive session, have been involved in contract review and drafting, and have worked on the Brier annexation matter, including the RFA plan amendment and the pre-annexation agreement. As you know, emergency proclamation 20-05 ended yesterday. So the governor's declaration of the state of emergency due to COVID-19 ended yesterday. I understand that Snohomish County also ended its emergency declaration. There's a couple of things that result from this. Number one, under the emergency proclamation, healthcare workers had been required to be vaccinated or to receive a reasonable accommodation if they had a medical or religious exemption. That requirement is now gone. An agency can impose its own vaccine mandate if it wants, but it has to undergo an independent analysis and determine that a direct threat exists. My understanding is most of the King County agencies are going to continue with a mandatory vaccine mandate. I read in the paper that one of the agencies may have decided not to continue with that, but I think a lot of agencies are, at least outside of King County, are probably not going to continue with the mandatory vaccine mandate. But that is gone from the state perspective. If you want to have a vaccine mandate, that has to be imposed by the agency at this point. The other thing that's more relevant to the commission is the Open Public Meetings Act. As you know, during the proclamation, remote meetings were required. In fact, in-person meetings were prohibited. That prohibition is now gone. And so we can return to in-person meetings. The exception to that, and I guess let me tell you what that means. What many agencies are doing is kind of a hybrid approach where they have an in-person, they have a physical location, but they're continuing to meet remotely, at least some of the elected officials or perhaps all of the elected officials, but they're having a physical location. So because the proclamation is now over, there needs to be a physical location for members of the public to come and to hear the public meeting, unless there's a declaration of emergency. And you'll recall that back in April of 2020, South County Fire did pass an emergency resolution that is still in place. It's my understanding that staff are working on transitioning so that at some point and I'll let somebody else speak to that issue rather than myself as to kind of where we're at with that. But South County Fire should either it can rely upon this emergency declaration to continue as it is now, or in the absence of that, it needs to have a physical location for members of the public to come in and at least hear the proceedings. Some agencies just have a speakerphone in a physical location. So if somebody did show up, they could hear everything that's going on, but none of the elected officials are there in person. So that is what is happening as a result of the termination of the proclamation. And with that, that concludes my legal report. Happy to answer any questions.
Commissioner Chan.
Actually, well, first of all, Rich, it's great that you're at the conference. And then I think your Frank did a really great seminar. I'll talk about that later on. Actually, about me, the public hearing, can the public hearing be held on the work session?
Yes, a hearing can be held during a work session. A work session is something that is really a kind of a special meeting, because what you are essentially saying as a commission is we're not going to take any final action. Remember, the definition of final action is where you take a vote on a motion, a resolution, or something like that. Unless you define a work session as precluding a hearing, which your bylaws don't currently do, you could have a hearing at a work session.
Yeah, because the way I understand is that basically a work session, many other city council, they say, we're just going to, among commissioners, just talk about issues. I look at the definition should be where we just only select a few issues. Each subject should not be longer than 1 hour, and that's not involving public. So, I see some other commission, some other city. So in our bylaw, we did not precluding the public. Is that correct?
I don't recall that you imposed
Okay.
that limitation in your bylaws. And keep in mind that a work session is really defined by the agency. You can define it however you want.
Okay.
So if you wish to preclude hearings, you could do so by putting that prohibition to your bylaws.
Okay. Oh, the second thing is I better comment. I think we're going to have agenda item to discuss it. I think that we are really behind 1 year. I think most of the city already at the beginning of the year have in-person meeting. I know that Mill Creek, there's on, Todd may expand on that. I think you guys already starting like early because I attend some of the meeting. I know Edmonds has and Linwood too. So I do encouraging us really to go to have an open meeting because especially the nature of fire service, we are in-person service. So our firefighters, everybody is still doing it. So I think I'm encouraging that we should open up the meeting, in-person meeting. Mike, you may answer that, Mike. Is that correct? Mill Creek.
Yeah, Mill Creek has been more than a year with in-person meetings. It was kind of difficult to begin with. We had a 6-foot spacing and only could get 13 people in council chambers. So we had a very complicated reservation system, but that kind of died away. And we've got everything's hybrid now. Half of the public appears in person and half appears online. And others appear on YouTube. We don't even know who they are. So it's working pretty well. And we'd be happy to advise on the pitfalls and the benefits, if that's helpful. Thanks.
Thank you.
Chief Hovis.
Thank you, commissioners, and interested in listening to other comments. If you have any, just wanted to share that staff met today to discuss this issue. We definitely support what other entities are doing, which is really that hybrid approach. We'll be bringing back or plan to bring back on the agenda that resolution, emergency resolution that the board passed, so you could take action to rescind that. We could get back to in-person meetings in a hybrid format here at our headquarters, as we had in the past, previous to the pandemic. And so we're looking forward to discussing that more with you, and also a plan to get our fire stations back open, at least for our public meeting rooms at those locations that can support our different community 501c3s, all of the different entities that before really needed a physical meeting place. We'll see what that looks like in the future, because some of those nonprofit agencies, let's say like PAWS or a homeowners association group, some have migrated to virtual, but I bet based on the Fire Prevention Week event at Martha Lake Fire Station 21, there's a lot of people that want to see each other for whatever group they are part of, as well as our great staff here at the RFA. So that is really what we're looking for going forward. COVID is still out there, and there's a lot of things out there, but we have great people, great facilities. We want to get back to where we were at before. So I guess where you started, Commissioner Chan, staff is at that point too. And we'd like to see you guys again too, in person a little bit, as well as have that virtual component. I think it's quite apparent that I don't know how many attendees we have right now. Let me look. At 36 participants. I haven't seen 36 participants in this room that I'm talking to you from, outside of maybe a family night or a promotional. But so it's great to have this transparency and inclusiveness in our large RFA. And we want to get back to what business looks like in a new normal and evaluate that. So that's a discussion we had at the welcome ceremony as well, for our newest employee, just talking about those issues. So just want to get that out there as you continue the conversation. And with that, I'll pause. Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Rich, for your report.
Thank you.
And now we're on to the union report. I assume that is with Alan Rubias.
Yes, thank you, Commission. My name is Alan Rivas. I've been with the RFA since 2017 as a firefighter paramedic. I work at Station 11 on A shift, and I've been on the E-board since 2018. I thank you for your time tonight. I'd say thank you to everybody who's watching. Commission, our report today has to do with our Coats for Kids. I believe there's a slide if we can share that. So on the 25th of this month, we had a crew and volunteers from the union go to Discovery Elementary here in Station 11's area, and we handed out more than 70 coats for kids in need. So these are nice winter coats that they can have for free. We size them and get them so they can stay nice and warm. A lot of these kids obviously don't have access to these coats, so it's a really great opportunity to help out. All the funds for these coats come from our benevolent fund that is funded through our firefighters. An additional 250 coats will be handed out sometime next week to the Edmonds School District as well. So we're looking forward to that. That's really all we have for you this week. We thank you for your time, and I'm glad to answer any questions you may have.
Anybody have any questions for the union report? Commissioner Chan.
Just a comment. I really appreciate you guys doing this. I think it's a good job you guys doing, and also give us a good profile, good relationship with our kids and the community. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to be striving to do a little bit more. As we've grown as a union, we as well are trying to grow our logistics. One of those things is communications director, which is the role that I currently fill. And so we're going to be focusing on a lot of community outreach and outward communications to our community to make sure that they're engaged with our fire department and our union. Great. Any other questions?
Thank you for the report. Oh, Chief Hobus.
I just wanted to mention one thing that President Hoover has discussed and firefighter paramedic Rivas has discussed with our growing RFA includes the city of Mill Creek, and now it's an opportunity with facilities in the Everett School District as well. So we'll look to partner up, I think, with the Fire Foundation will do that, the union will, and also South County Fire serving a really big RFA. And I will say this again, as we work towards having alignment and the three legs of the stool, the four legs of the chair with our public, our union, our administration, and really all of our stakeholders, and including governance, that these events come upon us pretty quick. We have to work with these school districts, but we want to get those invites out. And I know the union feels this way, and the school districts do. Might be some opportunities for commissioners as well, or other people that are watching this to be in attendance, because there's great things happening in the Everett School District that we serve here barely, and the Mukilteo School District, that it contains the facilities that firefighter paramedic Rivas talked about, and the Edmonds School District that identifies those last year 130 families that were homeless or near homeless that they're helping out, and the 300 that are on the edge, to be able to help them not just with coats, but on making sure that kids come to school fed, they get a meal, and that they have things other than coats too to be able to get to school, including shoes. It's a great thing. And look forward to reaching out to the Everett School District at all levels to be able to expand this program, because our people are our asset, and the communities that we serve, and especially children. And I know you all feel this way, everybody watching this. So thank you for the report and letting me add that little piece, Mr. Rivas. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Hobus. I think this time we're done. Thank you, Firefighter Rivas. Moving on to unfinished business. First item is board deliberations on the chief's preliminary budget with CFO Bothwell and Chief Hobus.
Good evening, commissioners. Melissa, can I share screen, please? Thank you. All right, just a very brief agenda for you tonight. First item will be a follow-up on a request that came out of last week's meeting. Obviously the budget deliberations on the chief's preliminary budget. And then the second one will be next steps. The first thing I want to cover under next steps is the budget package. I'm going to introduce what the various pieces are in the package. And then I will finish with the steps in the budget calendar that are yet to be completed. So the question from last week, or the request, was to update the previously requested worksheet to show the impact of increasing the general property tax levy by $1.85 million. And you may recall that this is the result of the scenario where taxes and fees would be raised by approximately 6% for the average property owner. So this analysis is in your packet. I performed it two ways. So the first was to show a one-time transfer to the building, the major facilities maintenance / building reserve in 2023. That analysis is on page 96 of your packet. And the second one was to show an ongoing transfer. So transferring the full 1.85 million for the 6-year planning period. Every year of that going to the major facility maintenance / building reserve. So those are in your packet. For next steps, I'll just walk you through the budget package. So you're scheduled to adopt the budget or consider adoption of the budget the next couple of weeks. So I just want to tell you kind of what you'll be looking at. So what the budget package is it's a series of interrelated resolutions required to adopt and implement the budget. So each of these 5 pieces that I'm going to show you in a minute are interrelated. So they impact each other. We call it the budget package because each of the resolutions affects the other. So if we make an adjustment to one, it will have an impact on the others. The 5 pieces of legislation or resolutions that you'll see, the first 3 set rates. So the first one will establish a general fire levy. The second one will be the EMS levy, and the third would be the benefit charge. The fourth resolution would be to adopt the budget. And then the 5th one would be to establish the cost of living adjustment for non-reps, so non-represented folks. And just for background, the represented folks, their COLA or cost of living adjustment would be in their contract. So that doesn't need to be voted on again. And the draft documents that are in the packet are based on the chief's preliminary budget. And we will update those before we bring them back for consideration of adoption with any adjustments that come out of the board's budget deliberations. So in terms of next steps on the calendar, so tonight, the board's budget deliberations continue. Those will continue for the next meeting too on November 8th. And then on November 15th, the consideration of adopting the budget package is scheduled. And that concludes the budget calendar. So that is kind of the last step, and then we'll just begin implementing the budget. Stop sharing this, and that is your introduction for tonight. If there's any questions, I'm happy to take those.
Do you have any questions for CFO Bothwell? All right, I'm not seeing any. You got off light tonight, CFO Bothwell? All right, and this was just for discussion only, as I recall. No action tonight. And next item is RFA plan amendment, City of Brier with DC Eastman.
Good evening, Chair Daniels and the board. In your packet on page 108, you will see the agenda bill associated with the resolution and the amended RFA plan, which would allow Brier to annex into the RFA. This was brought to the board at the last meeting, and we had a quick review of that, and it was requested that we bring this forward to this meeting for the board to consider taking action on and approving the resolution to amend the RFA plan. And as you know, this is the RFA's formal step that will allow the step that allows the city of Brier to actually annex into the RFA by this action. As you know, when the city of Brier passed the resolution to request annexation to the RFA, we brought that back to the next meeting to the board. The board at that time took a motion that was unanimous with the members present to direct staff to go do all the necessary process and paperwork to facilitate the city of Brier to annex in. This is one piece of that. And so we in your packet, you see a red line version, so you can see what was amended. And then there's a clean version that will be attached to the resolution if the board were to consider action. This has been reviewed as Rich Davis did the draft and the edits to the plan to allow for the city of Brier to be part of the RFA. And so with that, I will pause and see if there's any questions of the board for staff.
Are there any questions? All right, not seeing any.
If there
Right.
aren't any questions, then staff would ask the board to consider the resolution of amending the RFA plan for the purpose of city of Brier to be able to annex into the RFA.
The chair would like to entertain a motion to approve resolution number 11022-022-17, amendment of the South Snohomish County Fire and Rescue Regional Fire Authorities Plan.
I move.
Moved by Commissioner Chan and seconded by Commissioner Teoflat. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, let's go. Commissioner Chan?
Yeah, I think it's really important. We have a good process with Brier. I think this is a first step of the process. I'm welcome this, and I'm very happy about this.
I share those sentiments. Thank you, Commissioner Chan. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes.
Chair Daniels, thank you
Yes.
very much on behalf of staff. Just the next, there's a couple more things that need to be done just to let you guys know we're not totally done yet. Rich Davis is working on a pre-annexation agreement, which is part of this. We're in the process of starting a SEPA review, which is also a requirement. And we're looking at redoing the terms of the current agreement. If the city of Brier is not successful at the ballot, that would change the terms to be more in line with what the residents of RFA are paying. Those documents will be coming forward to the RFA at a future meeting. But we'll do our best to bring them as soon as we can for you guys to look at, and then at a subsequent meeting, we'll take action on those before we send them to the city of Brier. So on behalf of that, thank you on behalf of staff.
Commissioner Lawrence, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I might have missed it, but what time of the year they planning on putting on the ballot?
So currently the plan is for Brier to be on the April special election in 2023. So I think that the tentative plan is for them to be on the ballot in April, for the RFA, for them to actually join the RFA August 1st of 23. And we're on the very similar path right now that we were on with the city of Mill Creek. Just for in comparison, we're on pretty much the same trajectory and same track as we were with them. So that's the plan so far. And if that changes, we'll make sure we advise the board.
Thank you, DC Eastman. All right, on to item C, redistricting plan recommendation. Commissioner Chan.
Yeah. So we look at the plan 2 is the best because I think you guys have a copy of the map, which is until 2 commissioner, which also involve Commissioner Rowland's area. So that will allow that liaison Todd that an option to leave the board if they're successful, and so that. And also that can address the concern that Commissioner Candy has that about 3 commissioners, so it's only 2 commissioners. So we recommend that to to use Plan 2. If there's any questions, more than welcome to ask here, commissioners.
Anybody have any questions over Plan 2? We did connect with Bob Schweitzel, did I pronounce his name correctly?
Yeah.
And he said that with this plan, Mill Creek does only have 2 districts.
Yeah. So I think our plan is going to be on the 3rd meeting. We're going to have a public hearing that's required. Then hopefully we can vote after the public hearing. So if any have further questions, and commissioner in between among time, give me a call. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Chan. Commissioner Rowland, Vice Chair Rowland.
My only observations are, I personally feel a bit uncomfortable with 2 and 3. Or,
You got, your sound just went out.
can you hear me?
You gotta look closer.
All right. I think it's 1 and 3. I kind of felt uncomfortable with, just because of the way that that my particular, like where I live, it just is dangling in there, so it didn't look the best. I know we did have some concerns about splitting Mill Creek up into 3 districts, which, I'm sorry, I'm getting these numbers probably wrong. Hold on a second here. Let's see here, number 2 and number 3. Sorry, number 2 and number 3 are the ones where we're basically where I live, it looks carved out, and that always just kind of raises my eyebrows. So I just wanted to say that you know, it looks like it's being included just to keep me in that area, and I understand the desire. The other piece is, and I think we brought this up before, is that our bylaws are subject to amendment. So I don't necessarily think that we have to, you know, keep strictly with what they are now, as long as Mill Creek is in agreement with whatever we come up with. That having been said, you know, I just wanted to kind of bring up those 2 or 3 points.
Thank you, Vice Chair Rowland. Any other comments, questions? All right, I'm not seeing any. We'll move on to item D, in-person meetings with the planning update with Executive Assistant Melissa. Vice Chair Rowland, your hand's still up.
I'm not sure if there's really much more to discuss about this. I give you all the opportunity to share any additional comments if you'd like, but my main goal was to make sure to let you know that I've been working very closely with our IT manager, Chris Groenveld, and the rest of the staff to get the room ready for in-person meetings when we are able, and the executive order is lifted, or the emergency order is lifted rather. And I wanted to see if I could find out from the commissioners how many of you still planned to attend remotely. That will help us in our planning.
Can you
Christy O'Fleck. Thank you. Michael, Commissioner, so there will be 3 commissioners total that will still be, and 4 individuals that'll still be
can you
attending
raise your hand
remotely.
if you're looking to do remote, just to make life
That's fine.
easier?
I can see you.
Just so you know, with mine situation might be kind of a 50-50 split. It just depends on whether or not I'm attending the family. So
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that, and that will help us as we continue to plan the technology in the room.
Oh, Commissioner Lawrence, you're on mute.
I will show up sometimes and sometimes I won't.
Thank you. Commissioner Kenny.
Yeah, now that the governor's order, emergency order has been rescinded, I think we're on thin ice with our emergency order unless we're going to craft new findings, make new factual findings for our resolution, which is dated. So I think we need to move expeditiously to return of in-person meetings next Tuesday, following Tuesday, certainly by the first meeting of December. We need to make this happen. Of course, unless the board, unless the board, has the will to make it happen, then, the momentum is to not make it happen. But I think our peer government agencies around us, I think just about everybody's at a minimum at a hybrid, if not fully open. So I think we need to get going with the governor's order having gone away. There's no shield from it. It may be convenient to come in remotely and do remote meetings, but I think we need to get back more to where we were before with a hybrid component. That'll be the new normal, but the shield of the governor's order is gone, and I don't think we want to wait too long here. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Kenny. Commissioner Chan, your hand's up.
Yeah, actually, I got a little comments on the commission meeting too. There's a lot of, I look at other city council, majority of them really try to be in person. There's a lot of things lost if we no in-person meeting. So I'm really encouraging everybody, the best they can if they are, they can come. Of course, if people travel and that type of thing, we can understand. We have done that before, even when I was traveling out of the country, I was still trying to make a phone call. But now it's more convenient to have a Zoom meeting. Another things I want to talk about a facility. Again, I look at a reception area, her office all completely enclosed. So I really don't understand. I think we should open up again for public. And so that we're protected. And I think we should really, again, at the beginning of the meeting, I said that we are the agency that really have to be in touch with every single citizens. I haven't come back. Our gate is closed, and it just doesn't look good. If we're opening our station, our headquarters will open for anyone who want to come in and ask questions. And Laura, the reception is really protected because they're going to glass. So I don't think there's any danger to that. So I encourage that.
Commissioner Lawrence, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I second the notion there of Commissioner Chan. I think we should be opening up and employees coming back, and because they have to do work, us commissioners, whether we show up or not, it's not that important, right?
Thank you, Commissioner Lawrence. Chief Hovis, you have your hand up.
No, commissioners, thank you for the comments on this agenda item. That's really to talk about the subject matter, which is 10D. Just to be clear and to add on to the legal report when this was discussed previously, it is staff's intention to come forward with a plan that supports everything that the commission has said, but also to support the commissioners that would like to be hybrid, as well as increased attendance at our meetings here that have happened since the COVID pandemic. One thing to think about, and I would agree with those cities, both the ones that we serve currently under contract or not, there's only 3 cities that have fire departments in the Snohomish County anymore, and that is Bothell, Bridges, 2 counties, the city of Everett, and the city of Mukilteo. And if you had the opportunity to visit those city halls, and we're not a city, we serve them, but we are larger than all of those entities combined population we serve, but nearly 300,000 people. We took a pause through the budget process as I proposed for this year, and with the council or commission support, to not do the enhancements because we didn't know what the pandemic was going to do, to be able to get this workspace, this room into a more serviceable manner to be able to support those hybrid meetings like they have at those city halls, to include Mill Creek and Edmonds. And so other than Brier, really, that's not set up that way. So if we want to go that way, certainly staff supports that. That ties into our capital facilities plan, as well as some things with headquarters. And we paused on that last year. So I just want to remind the commission of that. Some of you weren't here, some of you are, but it sure would be nice to be able to have the public get in here for whenever they want to make public comment, be at our hearings and do those things. But it ties into a lot of different items. So we're going to do our best to get back to what the new normal is. And we definitely support all the commissioners' comments, and not only for the meetings, talking about headquarters, but those 15 fire stations and also those stations that have those public meeting rooms as well. So with that, just wanted to bring that back up to bridge the gap between item number 8, legal report, and item 10D under unfinished business. With that, I have nothing else unless there's any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Hovis. Anything further? Nope. Okay. Thank you, Melissa. I think you got what you were looking for. All right. On to committee updates, bylaws with Vice Chair Rowland.
Looking forward to getting back to a bylaws committee meeting now that our full committee is back in service. So we had one scheduled for last week, but there wasn't much to cover, and there was some cross wires there. But after talking to the committee members, there's a little bit more work that we have to do on our own so that we can come in prepared and make sure that we have everything ready to go. So we're going to be scheduling a new meeting here shortly.
Thank you, Vice Chair Rowland. Myself with Stone 911 had a monthly meeting here the third Thursday of October, and nothing terribly big was discussed in that one. So go on to commissioner comments, item 12, the agenda. Any commissioner comments? Commissioner Chan.
Yeah, we went to the last week, Melissa and also Mike. We had went to the meeting. I think Melissa brought back a lot of the materials, right, Melissa? That's really great. I did make in the board meeting, and I make a comments about that we are the large RFA, which is urban. A lot of issues are not being right now addressed by the board on the during the conferences. Example is homelessness. We have also the issues about that we're urban environment, and we have also I forgot the list. I'm listing out everything in there on the thing that is really we have benefit charge, we have GMT, we have all that issue the smaller district are not addressing. So I suggest that we're going to have caucuses with all this large organization. Actually, I look at that. Actually, a lot of the large did not even attend. So I think it would be good we can discuss all those major issues that we have. And I applied for the education committee, so hopefully I can get on that. And also I want to kind of one of the seminar that we haven't discussed before is by Frank Schmidt, which is the manager partner of Rich Law Firm. He managed about management and governance. And then one thing he emphasized on page 3 is that all commission must be leaders of the district. That means we need to be more proactive and not passive, and react to issues and not deferring everything to the administrations. And then on the page 9 is that the commissioner must be a leader, not a spectator. So I think that, or critics. So I think that's a good comment. That there's a lot of good things in there. So encouraging anyone that look at some of the material. It's really good. And Mike did a really good job as a rookie and asked a lot of questions. He had a lot of connection with a lot of people there. So Mike, you want to say something about the whole conference?
Yeah, the conference was great. Lots of attendees. I just through my travels knew quite a lot of people already that were there, and it was a good learning opportunity. I think anybody who has the opportunity to go to the next year's at Tulalip really should. It's a good connection place, reinforcing the information that you get not only out of the bylaws book and all of this other stuff, but the updates provided by the different legal representation that was there as well. Both Commissioner Chan and I got to take a vehicle over and back, and I didn't kill him on the highway, which is really good. So this is good news. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. Liaison Todd. You have your hand up.
Yeah, thank you. I thought I'd make a couple quick announcements. Some of you met last week. We now have a new police chief tonight, as of today. Our new police chief is Stan White, who's been with us for many, many years, 19 years. Started off as an officer, as a detective, and now he's our new chief. So we're really pleased to announce that. And he's looking forward to building a better relationship, or not build a new relationship, I should say, with South County Fire, to look at the whole public safety thing as a broader than just our police department and the contract fire department. We're looking forward to him helping us with that. Second thing, I want to let you know, we are working, Chief Eastman and I are working on the fire marshal agreement, and the numbers in that are coming out of your budget process are going into our budget process here in the city. We'll still got some dancing to do in our budget to make it work so that the fees we might collect for fire inspections kind of balances out some of those costs, but that's looking very close, very good, and getting very close. And we'll let you know we're working on that, getting it done. And thank you guys for having a budget that's kind of settling out a number we can work with, because the two finance directors are staring each other down about how to make the dollars match. Third thing, we are making some progress on the inspections that were required for the real estate transaction to transfer Fire Station 76 from Surfer to us, to then turn around and transfer it to you. That was slow going, but we got some good progress in the last couple of days. Looking forward to doing that and hopefully getting that done by mid-December for the transition of service and the transition of real estate at the same time. And finally, we are excited about what Chief Hova started this off with tonight. The Veterans Day Parade coming back after a number of years. We both have a solemn ceremony at our Veterans Memorial at 9 a.m. at the Library Park. And then 11 a.m. will be the parade. And we are very honored to have a Grand Marshal by the name of Lieutenant Commander Russ Hoop, who was an aviator for the Navy in World War II. He's 101 years old, lives here in Mill Creek, and he's going to be riding in a sidecar driven by Executive Dave Summers. And so we're pretty excited about him fulfilling his lifelong dream to ride in a sidecar. He's going to do it at age 101. So come and see that as a spectator of the parade, or as the chief said earlier, if you have to participate in some other fashion, we'd be happy to have you there. Thanks.
He's going to be in the sidecar with the executive. You don't get to see that very often.
Yeah, the exec's driving his own sidecar with the name of a motorcycle. I can't remember, but it's a vintage motorcycle with a sidecar. Pretty cool.
Sounds fun. Thank you. Commissioner Lawrence, you have your hand up.
Yeah, Commissioner Liaison Todd, I do hope you have good weather and not a storm that day. So, and about the seminar, it was Wednesday night. Was that the first class? Okay. So did everybody go to the same class, or was like two or three different classes at the same time?
No, on Wednesday, that was everybody focused as soon as they arrived. It started at 6. You had a variety of classes, I believe. Melissa, you correct me if I'm wrong. It's on Saturday or Friday and Saturday. There was some variety that you could choose from. For the most part, it was focused when we came in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I wish there was more online options there, like for the next day or whatever, because that was an incredible learning experience. I mean, just so much information makes you realize how important it is, especially for the records keeping, but everything else that was talked about, the updates to all the different laws, that was pretty interesting. Though there was one little part in that, some wise guy sent in some kind of comment there about Brian Snur. I don't know if you guys heard that one, but anyway, yeah, it was great. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Chan?
Yeah, I forgot to mention, Melissa did a great job in there, keep us in line. And I think she collect all the material from the seminar, and she also make herself connected with other districts and learning things from them too. Melissa, you want to say something? You're attending as a staff. There's a lot of staff attending the meeting too.
Oh, you're still on.
It's a great learning experience, and I recommend any commissioners attend. It's fun, but it's also incredibly educational, and yeah, I just encourage it. It's a great time.
actually, you learn a lot talking out a commissioner from their perspective, and then you kind of, yeah, it's great experience. Thank you.
Chief Hovis.
Commissioners, I just wanted to let you know, and Liaison Todd is aware of this, that Snohomish Regional Fire and Rescue is still providing service to Mill Creek out of Station 76 until such time as we transition that service. So they were invited to be part of the parade. I talked with Chief O'Brien about this, and he talked with staff and his commission. They've elected to not let us do the parade, and they're going to be staffing Station 76 to be able to respond to any emergency. So they'll be there and we'll be doing the parade, and that's by mutual agreement. So I did want to mention that. And I know these are commissioner comments, but I did want to mention, I heard maybe some grumblings about a special meeting potentially related to unfinished business item 10D and rescinding the emergency resolution. If the board does wish to make a special meeting next Tuesday, we'd also bring back the Veterans Day resolution or proclamation that the commission approved unanimously last year as well, to further support our veterans in our organization, in our RFA, and also events like the one in the city of Mill Creek. And with that, I have no other comments. Thank you for the time during this section 12 commissioner comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Hovis. Commissioner Chan.
Yeah, this is my record. I'm a third time. Liaison Todd, I just forgot. I just remember that the meeting, the open house review was after last meeting. I just want to know how you guys feel, how the reaction from your group in there. What's the impression of the whole thing?
People were impressed. People were excited. We're looking forward to more activities together. And the ACT thing, I know we're planning on doing that for staff first. It's probably staff and then council, and then opening up to the community when you're ready in the new year. But we're excited about those things, and everybody was very, very impressed by all of the presenters and the equipment, and it was just fun to see people face to face. So thank you.
It's good to meet you, all of the people too on your side. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have to add that we have our annual reviews coming up for the fire chief, our CEO, and our executive assistant. So I just wanted to put a bug in your ears for the rest of the commissioners. And I understand that our general counsel, well, not Rich himself, but his colleagues, Matt Paxton and Frank Schmelik, gave a nice 3-hour-long presentation. And so I am interested in trying to work with the board to bring them in maybe January and have them do a similar presentation to us, what they did there in Spokane. So let's put that bug in your ear as well. And with that, we will go ahead and go into item 13, executive session, review the performance of a public employee pursuant to RCW 42.30.110 subsection 1 subsection G. And we'll go ahead and start for 20 minutes. We'll go from there.
Are we coming back? Are we coming back to the main meeting here?
Just looking for conversation, so you can if you want. We're not looking to take action.
So we're coming back here after the executive meeting.
Yes.
The executive session has been extended for 30 minutes. The executive session has been extended for 10 minutes. The executive session has been extended for 10 minutes. The executive session has been extended for 20 minutes. The executive session has been extended for 5 minutes. The regular meeting has been called back to order at 9:26 p.m. and without objection, the regular meeting has been adjourned at 9:26 p.m. Thank you.